الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين
اللهم صل على
محمد وآل respected teacher. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Thank you for joining us for our short lunch talks. At the beginning of the year, we know that it takes a lot to make a successful year and a successful class. Not only do you have to have creativity in the class, you need some good classroom management skills as well, and also a way to direct the classroom. But one thing that's also very important for us to have at the beginning of the year and at the beginning of every class is we need to have tawfiq and success from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we need to pray for that success at the beginning of the year and at the beginning of every class. So on this point, I think we can take a lesson from the life of Prophet Musa. I don't think any teacher over here can say that I have a more difficult class than Prophet Musa had. Remember the story when Prophet Musa went up on the mountain. And as he went up on the mountain, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked to him from the burning bush. And he gave him one of the most difficult missions any prophet can have. He said to him, go to Fir'aun and convince him of this message. Now just imagine that in your classroom you have Fir'aun, and you have the advisors of Fir'aun, and you have some of the people who follow Fir'aun. Fir'aun who actually claimed, Ana Rabbukumul A'la, I am your Lord, I am your master, and I am the one whom you will be worshipping. So Prophet Musa, when he's given this challenging mission, what is interesting is he doesn't back down from it. He takes on the mission, but he also at the same time seeks help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now these are verses I'm going to recite from Surah Taha, verse 25, 26, 27, and 28. And these are very good verses to recite at the beginning of the class, or even if you have to give a talk someday, at the beginning of your talk, these are very good verses to recite. So he turns to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he says, Rabbi shrah li sadri. Oh Allah, now that you've given me this difficult mission, I ask that you expand my chest. This is one of those verses where just knowing Arabic words is not enough. Sometimes you have to appreciate Arabic expressions as well. Rabbi shrah li sadri. Oh my Lord, expand my chest for me. This could have one of two meanings. The first meaning could be that, oh Allah, before I can even convey this message to Fir'aun, help me myself to understand this message as well. It's very important before we convey any message to a child that we understand and more importantly appreciate that message. Sometimes you read an article or you read the notes and you know all the information in the notes, but you don't appreciate the notes. You don't appreciate the objective that you're supposed to teach in the class. And sometimes you read the notes, you go over the material, not only do you know the information, you seem to appreciate it, its gravity. What's the objective I'm trying to convey over here? When you walk into a class, when are you more confident? You're obviously more confident when you appreciate it and not just know the facts and figures, right? So he's saying, Lord, expand my chest so I can understand the message that I need to convey. The second meaning of this particular dua could be, he's saying, Lord, give me patience and forbearance. First of all, Imam, Amirul Mu'mineen, alayhi afdal salati wa salam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
He says, Alatul Ri'asa Si'atul Sadr. One of the key tools that you need to lead people is to have a lot of patience, an expansive heart. When you walk into a class, you will face challenges. You need patience to overcome those challenges. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri. And make my task easier for me. For me, it's very interesting. God gives him a challenge. Prophet Musa doesn't turn around and say, God, this is a very difficult challenge. I can't do it. Can you lower the challenge for me? He says, no, if this is the challenge I must face, I will face it, but make my task easier for me. In other words, he's saying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, don't lower the bar for me, don't lower the standard for me, let it be where it is, but allow me to hit that target. Help me to reach that standard. In other words, one of the qualities of a believer is whenever he faces a challenge, he never backs down from a challenge. He knows God is with him, he knows God is going to help him. With the help of God, he takes on the challenge. You may walk into a classroom and think to yourself, my God, I have to teach this class for the whole year. And that's okay. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet of Allah and your brothers and sisters are there to support you. وَيَسِّرْ لِأَمْرِي وَحْلُلْ عُقْدَةً مِّن لِسَانِي يَفْقَهُ قَوْلِي. and untie the knot that exists on my tongue so that they may understand what I have to convey to them. We're told that when Prophet Musa was a young baby or a young child, he burned his tongue. And because he burned his tongue, his speech was not clear. And therefore he prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, help me to make my speech clear so that they can understand what I have to say to them. But I think there is a more profound message in here. The more profound message is not only they understand what I have to say to them, but they appreciate in their hearts what I have to say to them. And that appreciation is what we want from them. You know, sometimes, I was just giving this example last week. I think sometimes a young person comes and recites a nasheed or a marthia or a nawha, and you know, it's a beautiful voice. People enjoy listening to it, but they listen to it and they walk away. They say, Alhamdulillah, he did a good recitation. And sometimes another young man comes or an older person comes and they don't have such a beautiful voice, but when they recite, people's hearts are moved. Right? People break down into tears. When they walk away from that particular recitation, they are changed. They want to become a different person. What's the difference between the two?
Comes from the heart.
Ahsantum. What comes from the heart, it also penetrates into the heart as well. So we're also praying to God, not only make me eloquent on my tongue, but make me eloquent in my heart as well. How does the heart become eloquent? It becomes eloquent when we practice what we're preaching. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد.
Any thoughts, any questions, any comments? We'll continue next week, inshallah.